Okay. So you are heading into the studio. You've gathered enough money to pay someone who knows what they're doing, and you're on the clock. Let's face it. That's how it really works when you get in there. So you want to be ready. You don't want to waste your bandmates' time. You don't want to waste the producer's time, the sound engineer. You don't want to waste anyone's time. So I have 3 tips, and they aren't, if you can read these down here, it's not that. I'll get into this board here in a bit, so allow me to step in front of it for now. So let me hit you with 3 tips, and then I'll get more specific because I was just recently in the studio to record 6 songs in one day, and I went 6 for 6, so I feel pretty good. So here we go. Number 1, practice. Wow. You didn't see that coming, right? So don't expect to do something on the day you record that you haven't done in practice. I know it's possible. I know people go into the studio and write, but you should have your foundation ready. And then if minor adjustments need to be made, you're ready to do that. But have your ideas concrete, practice. The more you practice, the easier this day is going to be on you. The more you practice, the easier it's going to be because you know where you're going. Be comfortable with your songs. I'm going to hit you with a Ted Lucas quote here, okay? It's so easy when you know what you're doing. It's so easy when you know how. It's so easy when you know what you're doing. It's so easy when you're doing it now. Boom. Okay, so practice, know what you're doing. You will feel more comfortable. You'll be more prepared. Number 2, control as many variables as possible. Okay, so when you practice, think about what is important to you. Right? So as a drummer, I have to think about the shoes I'm wearing. I have to think about the height of my drums. I had to bring my snare stand because a lot of snare stands don't go as low as I like to play. So I brought my snare stand. I brought my bass pedal, knowing I'm really comfortable on that pedal. I brought my hi-hats, knowing I'm comfortable on those. Not that I can't play on other gear, but why make it harder on myself? Okay? So any variables you can control, carry those variables that you're putting into practice over to the studio, right? If before every time you practice you have a coffee on studio day. If you stretch before you play in the studio. Make it so practice is as close to the real thing as it can be. You're going to face some new variables in the studio, okay? You're going to run into things that you are not used to. So the more constants that you've carried over from practice, the better position you're putting yourself in. You're gonna have to play around someone maybe you've never played around before. You're gonna be in a new room. There's gonna be new distractions. So just be prepared for that. Control as many variables as you can. Less room for excuses that way too. Okay, if you follow number 1 and number 2, you will do well. But on the day of, there is something crucial you need to remember. Breathe. Breathe. Relax. Okay? You may feel some nerves. Again, it's a new environment. You're on the clock, so you feel like, I got to get this. I got to do it right. You will still probably doubt yourself. You may lose your spot. If that happens, slow down, breathe, start over. Think about how you're talking to yourself, right? If you're being really down on yourself and you're telling yourself internally you suck, it's the same thing as someone walking in and going, you suck, and telling that to your face. That's not good for morale, okay? That's not going to help you in any way. So think about what you're thinking. Take breaks when you need them, okay? Knock a song out, take 5 minutes. walk around the block, have a cigarette, whatever you do. Take breaks. You don't have to do it all in one go. You don't have to get every song first try. Keep going until you're happy with the product. If you get a take and you know it was like 95%, do it again, right? Because worst case scenario, you have the 95% take that you can patch up. Best case scenario, you carry that momentum over and you get a 99% take or even a perfect take. And that's the last thing I want to say in regards to these tips. There is no such thing as perfection, okay? You are bound to screw up. The producer may have to go back and change some things. You may have to go back and change things. It's all good. Anyone who expects perfection from you, don't worry about it, okay? Because no one is. So now, I'm going to explain my little chart here. So this is going to be a bit specific, but maybe this helps, some of you out there. So what you see here, all right, are the 6 songs that I recorded. So as I was going through and I knew I needed to practice these songs, obviously, I went ahead and I'm marking down how many times I'm running this song. Okay, I call it like a lap. You're taking a lap on the song. So all these black laps, right? That's all stuff I did before my last day of practice. Because there will be like a final day of practice, right? Whether that's the day right before the studio or 2 days before you go into the studio. So black means I did it in the weeks before, 10 days before. And then I did green. That's the last day of practice. And purple now is me just practicing them after the fact. So I'm keeping the songs tight. If we play a show, I'm ready to play the show. I'm not losing the sense for these songs. Okay? How many laps you take, that's up to you. That's arbitrary in my opinion. Now, obviously, I don't think 3 laps on a song. I don't think you're going to be as prepared if you did 10 laps. But don't obsess to the point where you feel like you have to do 100. If you have the time, go for it. If you have the mental fortitude, go for it. But I did about 30. I did about 30 on each song, and that set me up pretty nicely. Okay, last 3 things I'll talk about here. You are going to make progress little by little. As you get better, the changes that you notice in your playing become smaller. Take it day by day. Be grateful for days where you feel like you're progressing a lot, and understand some days it'll feel like you're moving backward. Can't do anything. If you tell yourself, I can't do X, I can't do Y, you are going to be right. The word can't help you in any way. Let go. Whether that's ego, whether that's anxiety, whatever it is, let go, be in the present moment, or you get dragged. Okay, you get dragged down, you get bogged down. That's it. Okay, so there it is. There's the chart. I hope this was of some use to somebody somewhere. And I'll keep hacking away over here. I appreciate all of you, the comments, everything, the views. And keep at it. Don't give up. Music with Max. Signing off.